Hi, and welcome to the Stockscores Market Scan. The Stockscores Market Scan tool allows you to filter thousands of stocks using dozens of filters. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use it. So what is the Stockscores Market Scan? Well, when I started as a trader, I had a very specific set of things that I liked to look for when I was looking for opportunities in the stock market. And at the time, I really didn't have a tool that allowed me to find those things in a quick and easy way. Now, yes, there are other filters and market scanning tools out there in the marketplace, but the problem for me is they didn't have the filters that I like to use. And there's some proprietary things that I do, things like looking for abnormal trading activity, that I just couldn't find anywhere. So I went out and I built my own tool, and that's really what the Stockscores Market Scan is all about. It not only allows me to look for common technical analysis concepts, but also I can utilize the stock scores indicators and some of those proprietary indicators that I've developed as a trader to find the stocks that I need to find. So let's jump over to stockscores.com now and take a look at the market scan tool here. And you can see that there's a lot of different filters on the page that we can utilize, combining to look for different things. For example, if I wanted to look at all the stocks on the New York Stock Exchange that had a sentiment score above 60, and if you're wondering what a sentiment score is, I encourage you to take a look at the video on how to use the stock scores, and it'll explain that. That's elsewhere in the Stock Scores Education Center. I may only want to look at stocks between $5 and $20. I may want to find stocks that had an abnormal day to the upside. That's one of those proprietary things that we have on stock scores. And stocks breaking through 5-day resistance. Now, I've just created my own little scan. I could also add in a liquidity factor, trading at least 100 times a day, and run the scan. And it goes through every stock listed on the New York Stock Exchange, and you can see just how quickly that happened. It was pretty much instantaneous. It gave me a list of the stocks that meet those criteria. Well, then the final step is to view the charts, so I can say select all and view them in the slideshow chart viewer. And I can now go through those charts one at a time, looking to see if it has the kind of chart pattern that I like to see. Well, let's jump back to the market scan now and just go through these filters in a little bit more detail. So up at the top here we have the general filters. These are filters where we're looking for exchange, market capitalization. We can look for stocks that are inside a portfolio or a watch list that I have created, stocks that are inside a sector. We can say to only look for stocks that pay a dividend with a yield between, say, 2 and 6%. You can really add in some cool criteria when you do that. Let's turn those off. Now, the next area below is the stock scores filters. This is where we can set specifics relative to the stock scores indicators. Now, if you've watched the how to use the stock scores video, you will know that there's a set of rules that we have for using the stock scores. For example, one of the position trading strategies I like to do is to look for stocks with a signal score greater than 80 and a sentiment score greater than 60. You could also say, I want to know when the sentiment line moves above 60. That's a sentiment crossover and an important criteria when we're looking for stocks that have gone from being sort of market doesn't care about them to stocks that have some potential. Now, the next area is the price filters. Here we have things related to price. You can say I want to look for stocks within a certain price range, look for stocks making an abnormal day up or down. You can look for their moving average to be bullish, bearish, or neutral, either on a short-term, medium-term, or long-term basis. You may want to look for stocks that have made a gain of at least 3% today or 30% over the last 20 days. Those are the kind of filters I'll often use to backtest my strategies, looking for stocks that have done well. Relative to their highs or lows. If you say here today's price is greater than 100% of the 40-day high, well, that's a stock that is at a 40-day high. If you say 95%, then you're basically telling the scanner to look for stocks that are within 9 or 5% of that 40-day high. And you can do that for highs and lows. Here we have support and resistance, stocks making breakouts through 5-day support or resistance, stocks breaking from consolidations. A consolidation is a period when the stock is essentially trading sideways. Sometimes I like to see stocks that are volatile. If I'm looking for day trades, I want to trade the more volatile stocks out there, and I'll use that filter. Sometimes I want to look for stocks that were not volatile yesterday and today they are very volatile. That's a stock that all of a sudden came to life, and so I can use those filters for that. Then we have the volume filters. You can look for stocks trading abnormal volume with their volume either above a 20-day average or a 150-day average. Some of you may like to use the Williams volume accumulation. You can set that to either bullish or bearish. Volume price trend, same thing, bullish or bearish. Volume can be above a certain number of shares traded, a certain dollar value of volume, or a certain number of trades. Now, one of the key things about the volume criteria where you see this little asterisk, the thing about the volume criteria through the day is that it's changing. For example, if you said I only want stocks that trade 1 million shares a day, well, if you do that at 10 o'clock in the morning, a half an hour after the market opened, it's a very different amount of volume traded than at the end of the day once the market is closed. Well, the nice thing about these filters is they actually extrapolate volume through the trading day. So if it's 10 o'clock, the filter will say, well, so far today it's traded 100,000 shares, and we know that in the first half an hour it trades 8% of its total volume for the day, and therefore it's on pace to trade more than 1 million shares a day. And so you can use the same filters throughout the day without having to adjust them. And that's a key thing about this market scanner. It's updating throughout the day. It's surveying the market as it happens with about a 15 to 30 minute delay. It's always updating throughout the day. So our database of all these indicators is changing as the day progresses. Now, of course, in the evening it's static because the market's closed. Now, momentum study calculations, you may like to use stochastics, RSI, MACD, certain trend. Again, you can set these to bullish, bearish, overbought, oversold, that sort of thing. Now, once you've sort of gotten used to all these filters, you can start to build your own scan. And if you want detailed explanations of what each of these filters does, go to the Getting Started menu, go to the User Guide, and inside the User Guide, you'll see here the Market Scan. If you click on that, you can get a detailed breakdown of what all these filters do. It's all explained in the User Guide. All right, let's jump back to the Market Scan tool. Now, as I said, you can create your own scan. You go through, you set all the settings that you need to set, and then at the bottom you give the scan a name. So we could do a quick little scan here for all Canadian with a sentiment above 80, or pardon me, a signal above 80, a sentiment above 60, trading between $2 and $10, make it 1 and 10, 2 and 10, there we go, and breaking to a 15-day high breakout. So we'll just call this scan 15-day breakout and click on check to save scan. When I run that report, it's not only going to do the search, but it's also going to save that scan with that name. So when I come back to the market scan and I go to this pull down menu over here, if I go down to the bottom where it says My Saved Scans, there you can see the 15-day breakout that I saved. Now, I've saved all kinds of different scans for myself, and I can go back to any one of those at any time and pull it up very quickly. That way I can run the scan quickly and get those results, which I then view in one of the chart viewers. All right, so let's go back to the market scan because now I want to get into the preset scans. Now, depending on your membership level at Stockscores, you have access to some of the preset scans that we have created. Now, a lot of these pro scans are explained in the different courses. So if you take the investor course, you're going to be able to look at some of these scans. If you take a look at the active trader course, you're going to be able to pull up some of these pro scans. One of the things I like to do when I'm day trading is run intraday pullbacks. I can run that report. It gives me a list of the stocks that are worth checking out in real time on my real-time charting application from my broker to see if they have the kind of patterns that I want to see. All right, so you can use your own scan or you can use one of the preset scans from the Market Scan tool. So let's jump back to the presentation, make sure I haven't forgotten anything. We've gone through the preset scans. We've shown you how to save a scan and how to link to the chart viewer simply by saying, I'll show you that again here. If you run any old scan, let's just run this one, run it, there's the stocks. If you want to view them in a chart viewer, just say select all, and you can either view in the gallery or the slideshow. Click on go, and it will jump you to that viewer so you can go through the charts really quickly. When you see something you like, there's a stock breaking out from an ascending triangle pattern, click on the chart, it blows it up so you can see it in all the detail. All right, the last thing that I want to show you is the ability that you have to export a list of candidates of a market scan to Excel, or just to a field or a file. So you can see here that I can say select all, and now I have the choice of either viewing in the gallery or the slideshow chart viewer, which is what I've been doing throughout this video. But you can also save those stocks to a watch list, save them to a portfolio, or export to Excel. Now the reason you might want to do that is when you export something to Excel, now you can grab the symbols out of there, copy them, and then paste them in your real-time charting application that you use. So for example, I like to use TradeStation. What I will do here is I'll run my day trader scan about half an hour after the market opens. I'll grab all the symbols, copy them, and then jump over to TradeStation, paste them in there where I can then do the kind of analysis that I want to do. Well, that's been a quick overview of the Stockscores Market Scan tool. There's lots of videos here in the Getting Started section of the Stockscores Education Center that will give you some guidance on how to use the tools and different functions on Stockscores.com. I encourage you to watch as many as you can before you get into the foundation area of Stockscores and really get the learning started on how to beat the market.